Well, hi, my name is John Baker, and I was a real estate broker in Salem from 1977 through the end of 2012. And I started with, and for the whole time, I was with my family firm, Ned Baker Real Estate on State Street. My father and my mother were brokers at the time, and that's how I got introduced to Alan Jones. My father had the deepest respect for Alan, and the reason is Alan was a normal real estate broker with his own firm, and in 1949, when they formed the multiple listing service, the collective membership selected him as to be the manager of the multiple listing service. And it was a testament, his testimony to his honesty and fair play. And that's what the award recognizes, is when the membership looks at within their membership for someone who the way they treat their customers and their clients and their fellow real estate brokers with a highest level of competence, the sense of honesty and goodwill towards your competition. That's what the Alan Jones Memorial Trophy honors and memorializes. I have a couple memories of him. He had eyes kind of like me, where they kind of squint when you smile. He had a beautiful smile, and also a sense back then when I started. Each agent had a tin box, and tin box would have all your 3x5 cards of each of the properties, and twice a week you would get a packet of the new cards that you had to file into the box, and then the green sheet, which had all your solds that you would pull out of the box and all your changes. And so every time you got one of those, it was Tuesday and Thursdays. It would take at least 2 hours to file that into your tin box. But Alan's sense of fair play, because that was the only source of information on the real estate properties, the earlier you got your packet, you had an advantage over your competition as they were delivering them through the day. So what would happen is they made a list of all the real estate firms, and then they would rotate the delivery. So one Tuesday I might get the packet at 9 a.m. The next Tuesday it might be 3:30 p.m. So this is an extension of his belief of at least being fair as much as the technology would permit. And so that's a fun memory. I remember the MLS building being out on North River Road. No agents would be taking their own photographs, because there's only one black and white photograph that would fit on the back of the 3x5 card. And so there would be the big back office where the photographers were working, and then the huge table for the collating, because you had to collate for as many hundreds of agents as we had. Each of them had to have the packet with all the properties. So you had people dealing like card dealers, going down around and around a circle, and I'm just, it was funny, but it was what was necessary in order to provide that atmosphere for a multiple listing, to allow its members to better represent their clients, as well as provide the best service and a greater ability for a buyer to know what comprehensively was on the market. So it was a wonderful experience, and I was on the tail end of that. It was just a few years, probably a year and a half after I started when we went to the catalog. So my predecessors put up with the 3x5 cards and the filing for a number of decades before technology would take that out of play. His sense of honesty, fair play, the respect that he had meant that when there were two brokers that would have a disagreement with each other, he could call them up and have a conversation. And if the brokers were not able to resolve it themselves, he would be able to resolve the conflict and keep things moving forward. So he had that ability on the strength of his reputation. It's like asking the private about the general's life. I was just a newbie, and so I was struggling to survive. And so my impressions were more fleeting and professional. I didn't know him or socialize privately. So I don't really have much more than my personal experience and then the opinion of my father. I served, I think, 9 years on the board, so I got to see it from the other side, from the staff's point of view, and just, my appreciation for the multiple listing service went through the roof after that, what they're doing. So not only was Alan's role as a referee out in our industry, but he also had to manage the staff and the product that was being turned out to make sure that it was accurate. The buck stopped with him. So, and just like what's amazing is the multiple listing service has had only 2 managers, and the second manager is still in. Jay's still there, and so Jay came on and took over for Alan. But that's since been 1949. How many industries have had only 2 managers in that length of time? That's 60. They just had their 70th anniversary, so 70 years. Pretty impressive. So, and that also adds to the fact that I think our membership should be very grateful and feel blessed about the service that's provided there from the multiple listing because of the stability. You don't really know what you miss until something changes and, oh gosh, I wish it was like it was before. But the stability of that organization has been impressive. I think the biggest thing is if you're a recipient of that award, that your membership is honoring you for your ability to make a difference within your community, your industry, on the strength of your honest and fair dealings and your duty and loyalty to the best interests of your customers, or of your clients, I should say. And so that is quite an honor to be recognized by your peers. And so that is if you look back on the plates that are around that award, you see a lot of the, what I call the greats. I call them the greats, the ones that I always looked up to when I was a new agent. And, you know, a lot of them were there. You'll see, you know, Gravenhorse and Hudkins and Nelson. These are all firms. Edna Forrest and Joe Graham and all the greats. I could continue going on and on. These are people that, as a recipient, you're tied to based on your singular belief in, you know, honesty is the best policy. I don't really have anything to add other than whoever this year's recipient, congratulations.